Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. In today's video, we have SoFi to talk about, potentially Duolingo to talk about, okay? This company keeps selling off. I mean, there's got to be a price that people that are even skeptics are willing to pay. I mean, maybe that's not true. Maybe you absolutely hate language learning, you hate their metrics, and maybe you hate the CEO and his beliefs or something. I don't know. But to me, a fundamentally strong business that has strong user engagement, there's always a price to pay, especially if it's in an area that I can understand quite easily. We'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about S&P 500 inclusion, the names that might be available, and when is the inclusion next. I'll give you a hint. Potentially tomorrow. Now, I started seeing a bunch of people say that it was on the first Friday of every month, but my recollection was that it was on the third Friday of every month. So I got a little confused, but then I saw like 3 or 4 different accounts end up talking about it. I couldn't even find it on S&P 500's own website. So we'll see. Okay. That being said, let's get through some topics here today. First, starting with the, can I say great and powerful? I think that's potentially up for debate. But the questionable Duolingo. Now, chat's a little bit in the way, so I'll scroll down a little bit. But as you can see, over the last just 5 days, from August 28th, which was 5 trading days ago, you can see that we were essentially 133 PE. Today, we're at 116. On a forward basis from 5 days ago, we were at 83 times. We're now below 70. And these mark lows for a multi-quarter period, right? So what does this mean? I mean, this is unprecedented. Are the risks so big for people that we're going to continue to push down these PEs, or was it overly expensive to begin with? I find it quite interesting because the stock price as well from institutions before it started to crash just over the last, few days, after earnings came out, brought the average analyst to bring Duolingo's stock price to over $500 a share, or roughly around $500 a share. Now that it's crashing, they're following that movement. And so we saw a couple analysts come out over the past couple days and slash their price predictions from 500 down to 300. But even that, I mean, even that is now a bullish price target from where we are today. Okay. So there's very few analysts that are saying, hey, you know what, this is going to continue to collapse and head lower. But I am fully aware of the disdain that investors have for this name. Make that below 240. Yeah. Is the buy range 240 now? I know a lot of people that before today were saying the buy range was under 280. Now we're under 280, and then the price gets even lower. I think that that's a really good highlight to show that, I was going to say, I'm trying to do better here, guys. But that if we just continuously push those price targets, we're never going to quite understand whenever that bottom actually happens. And if there is a V-shaped recovery, then everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, it was so obvious to have purchased back whenever it just dropped randomly after great Q2 earnings all the way down to 272 or 271 in the after hours. So I'm going to watch very closely. Okay. But we'll see. We will see. Someone in chat just said, will SoFi hit above 25 tomorrow? Well, let's take a look at the stock really quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to wait till tomorrow. We hit it today. In fact, it was actually quite interesting watching the market today as we sold off and almost went, to around $24 per share, and then just an unbelievable rise. Now, gauging different investor sentiment, the one that I thought was most interesting was Daniel Newman. Okay, Daniel Newman is a great investor. And he covers a lot of AI names, tech names, but he's also very close with SoFi. And if I'm not mistaken, it's one of his largest individual holdings, not just the holdings for his own fund. But this is quite interesting. SoFi was down for most of the day and popped in the last 2 hours of trading. Tomorrow is the S&P 500 announcement? Question mark. We will see. Now, Daniel is no speculative investor. Obviously, he's making a speculative comment here, but this is not a random account online. He's very well known in the space. You guys have probably even seen him on CNBC or Bloomberg or some of these other things because he does a lot of those TV appearances. For him to come out and make a speculative statement like that makes me really interested to think if maybe institutions are looking at moves like that, that if news has been broken early and people are trying to do a little bit of insider trading, who knows? Heisenberg's account as well. This is a more of a trading account. But he said names floating around for tomorrow's S&P 500 inclusion: Robinhood, AppLovin. We also have Reddit and SoFi, maybe Carvana, right? There's a couple interesting ones. A lot of people want strategy as well. But SoFi is now being put on that list across the board. They bring a unique perspective that other names do not bring. Not only are they a fintech, for which they have been putting in a lot of financial names, which makes me lean more towards AppLovin, but they also put in Trade Desk recently. But maybe that was not the success that they were looking for, because the second that they put it in, the Trade Desk has started to see some problems. Maybe just maybe they are looking for more of a bank. Oh my gosh, guys, your names are back. Did anyone notice this yet? There's no more ats. They rolled it back. Oh my gosh, I just realized. Welcome back, guys. That was a terrible moment. What a terrible A/B test. Bob is back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bob again. Now we can have the David Chiavrinis and all the, Tanner's t-shirt and whatever, all these different accounts come back. That added a little bit of flair. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I didn't realize that. Awesome. Great news. Need to turn on my alerts. These streams come out of nowhere. Yeah, BL, that's my fault. I would like to do 7 o'clock every day. Okay. Things pop up, move my schedule. I would like to be as work focused as potentially a mid is or something like this, where I could have a daily stream at the same time every day. But life events come up, or something seems like a great opportunity for me, a dinner, something like this, where I can put in some family time as well. Those also something that I try to balance. So unfortunately, if I do have to, stream and push it back, the one thing I'll try to not do is miss a stream. They might be off on the timing, but for the people that are rewatching or something like this in the morning, they won't know whether I've streamed at 7 or 8:30 or what have you. So I'm just trying to make sure that I go live at least once a day to cover market news. And apologize. I should get better over time. Okay. Next, obviously, we're getting a mix of macro news that's making people a little bit not concerned, but that there's definitely a need for a rate cut, or potentially even 50 basis points. I'm surprised that there's zero pricing in for a September 50 basis point. Like, I would even put it close to 10%, but right now it's getting 0%. And the actual rating is being put at 99.4% now for a 25 basis point cut in September. 0.6%. Now, we've been here before, okay? Just because we're seeing these percentages doesn't mean that they can't go the other direction. We've already seen them do that. But still great. It's my little confirmation bias that SoFi is going to potentially see something that affects their immediate loan platform business and personal loans. Obviously, if you guys are SoFi users or have had a SoFi account at one point, you will know, based on the amount of emails that they've sent you, or push notifications, that they are pushing hard on telling people that they have personal loans at great rates, home loans, credit cards. They've been going out in like just so much spam on bringing in new products, which obviously can upset some users, but for the most part, the reason why they do that is because every single time that they go and they ping out, they're getting users sign up in return. So I think that it's a good indication that they have more demand than they have supply, and that they need more and more supply every single time that you receive an email. That's an indication that they want more loans. A demand on the institution side, right? Obviously, the other way around would be a supply of capital and then a demand from users, and that imbalance. But I'm talking about a demand from institutions to buy up the supply of customer loans that they have. Yeah. Any thoughts on Broadcom? We will talk Broadcom. I'm just trying to keep it to the fintech conversation before we switch over. But yes, Broadcom is on the list of topics for sure. And so just keeping on this S&P 500 inclusion really quickly, I hope and pray that that SoFi or Robinhood or AppLovin ends up getting in tomorrow. That would be amazing. Absolutely love that. But there's also a possibility that nothing gets changed. Okay. That we go the entire day and see no relevant moves. Also, guys, tomorrow, probably around noon, I'm going to be having a stream, an early stream tomorrow. So there won't be any late night stream. And which I should have done the FinTech Friday today. I don't know why I didn't do that. Maybe I can do another stream tonight if maybe we can go a little extra long today. But that being said, tomorrow around noon, I'm going to be doing a individual company deep dive. Okay? I've got a name picked out. We're going to be talking about that individual name. We're going to be using Fiscal AI to break out all those numbers. I'm going to have a presentation ready for you guys. That being said, I need names that you guys want me to cover in future weeks. Okay? So I have some names that I want to talk about, but obviously I want a good balance of, hey, you know what? Last week we wanted to talk about Duolingo. A bunch of you guys freaking hated that idea. So I do want to hopefully talk about some names that you guys want me to cover. But yeah, I talked about Duolingo last week. SoFi, I think we get enough DD on SoFi as it is. This will be our special sort of separate, separate section. What's the criteria? Well, the criteria would be, I like companies that are a little bit seasoned, over 10 billion is what I really like, that 10 to 100 billion range. I really like those companies. I was also thinking Meta. So, I mean, there's real no upside on the size of the business. So we can do those names as well. But I do like seeing historical data if they are companies that are mainly story driven, then obviously the presentations aren't going to be filled with much. So a lot of hymns, SoundHound. People won't like it, but I want Shopify or Mercado Libre. I would be able to throw together a pretty quick presentation on either one of those businesses, especially Shopify. But you're right. No one would like them. Nubank, we've done a lot of coverage on Nubank. Salesforce, I could do. That definitely fits into the conversation. But I was also thinking ones that I was sort of new to, ones that I would, learn a lot about. Cybersecurity, I could do CrowdStrike. It's definitely on my short list of names to cover. Klarna, absolutely not. I just have zero data. There wouldn't be enough for me to go off of other than, press releases throughout the years of how they've grown. But yeah, I need public names. Datadog. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Keep putting them in. Let me know. And I might grab one of the names out to do a future week on. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I was also thinking, tell me if you guys like this idea. Lululemon. you know, I think that there is something to looking into these names that people have given up on. I'm not saying I'm buying it the same way that I'm not saying about, Duolingo, but there's a price to pay on names that people have, sort of given up on a little bit. The reason why I say that they've given up on these names is Lululemon's after hours movements here. Lululemon is down 3.8 or sorry, they're up 3.8%. They're down 15, nearly 16% in the after hours after less than desirable earnings missing on top line revenue. And I think it was a guidance miss as well. I would buy Nike over Lululemon. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't buy any Nike products, zero. And I'm wearing Lululemon pants right now. And no, they're not tights, guys. They're like the ABC pants. They're like they look like dress pants, but they feel like sweatpants. Axon, that would be a really great one. We should add that one. I will add to my list. PayPal, we've done enough on PayPal. Okay. The ones that I definitely could see myself doing, just so you guys are aware, I could see myself doing a Snowflake one. I could definitely see myself doing an Axon one for sure. That one probably will get done. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Tanner. Do you use Wealthsimple? Yes. I don't know who at YouTube watches the stream and was listening to our blatant hate about the hashtag only thing, but I'm so happy that we get to see each other's names now. God, that sucked. I hated it so much. I think you guys hated it. There would be people who I would watch and like learn their names, and their it would switch their handle, and then I wouldn't even know who I'm talking to, and they'd have to be like, "Hey, Tanner, it's me." Jeez. It also messed up my whole donation thing as well. I had a bunch of people that donated under a single name, and then they donate again. And I'm like, is that this? Anyway. Why did Grab move so much? I don't follow Grab, but I also didn't see a movement. They're up 2.6%. Yeah, why did Grab move so much? They're up 1.6%. It doesn't really look like the most explosive amount of volume or movement. I don't think that has to be on necessarily news. Do it on Neo. I'm not going to do it on Neo. I'm not holding any Chinese companies right now other than what is in the community portfolio. Neo is something that I was looking into before and had a small stake in that company. I was hopeful for the company because I love the battery swapping technology, but not a fan of the Chinese names right now. I think it's just a little bit too risky with Trump in office that there could be, potential delistings or something like this. I mean, it's not wartime, but it does feel like some sort of Cold War in a way, or something like this, where there's tariffs or potential delisting effort, these sort of things. I don't want any part of Chinese names. I think the risk is just too high right now, even if the companies are strong. That's something that Michael Burry can stick to. Okay. I promise you guys I'm not going to do an Oscar Health one. It's not gonna. You guys should know me by now. I'm not gonna do a healthcare name. I don't care about healthcare. I don't know anything about it. I'm not gonna learn today. Uber, on the other hand, huge chance I do one on Uber. That's probably one we will do. Okay. Let's get back to the news. I saw a bunch of comments also asking for some more ETH due diligence, but there's nothing really to deep dive. I don't feel like there's anything that I could cover that other people have not already. So if you guys are looking for Ethereum deep dives, there is an unbelievable amount of coverage out online about Ethereum. I couldn't possibly add anything. That being said, we do talk about ETH a lot on here and how they are the potential L1s that are coming out and taking, Wall Street by storm. But then you have people like Stripe's founder, Patrick Collison. Now, him and his brother have started Stripe a long time ago and have grown to such a degree and potentially even could get a valuation nearing $100 billion. Introducing Tempo. At Stripe, we care about high throughput, low latency payment use cases. As the use of stablecoins and crypto more broadly grows across Stripe, Bridge, and Privy, we found that existing blockchains are not optimized for them. For example, it's valuable for real-world financial applications that fees be denominated in a fiat currency that makes sense to the user. But existing blockchains denominate their fees in blockchain-specific tokens. Batch transfers are very useful in payments, but much less important in trading. Bitcoin does 5 essentially throughputs second, Ethereum 20, Base and Solana get somewhere around 1,000, but Stripe peaks at 10,000, and so on. As such, we decided to incubate Tempo, a new blockchain, not built on any other L1s, but is its own L1, optimized for high-scale, real-world financial services applications. Tempo is an independent company with Stripe and Paradigm as first investors. To ensure that Tempo serves a broad array of needs, we've decided to be working with Anthropic, Copang, Deutsche Bank, DoorDash, Leadbank, Mercury, Nubank, OpenAI, Revolut, Shopify. The list goes on and on. We will start with independent and diverse validator set and plan to move towards permissionless validation. Tempo will also have a built-in stablecoin AMM to enable platform neutrality with respect to different stablecoins, and Stripe itself will, of course, continue to work with many chains as first-class partners. We hope that Tempo makes it easier for things like payment acceptance, global payouts, remittances, microtransactions, tokenized deposits, agentic payments, and more to move on-chain. They currently have 15 people. But what did you guys think? This got a lot of buzz today. And no, it's not on Ethereum. It's being backed by some of the biggest names. And it is, although this is the benefits of blockchain, it is not working with Ethereum. Now, whenever this came out, I actually saw the the crypto people come out in droves saying, hey, this is actually going to be, not that great. And that this is like people need to do deeper dives on the actual costs of what Tempo is going to be like versus things like Solana and Ethereum, and especially Solana. Solana's founder came out, Anatoly, and he was specifically bashing Tempo and saying how it's not going to work as well as what people hope. But these are the type of things that highlight two different things. One, whenever a market share is, or a market total addressable market is so big that there's going to be tons of competition. Okay. But there's also been massive companies and massive organizations that have tried to be created to take down Ethereum already. Solana being one of them, right? Cardano, XRP. There's so many different use cases to come out to say, hey, this specific niche of Ethereum is not being tackled by XYZ, but that's why things like Base end up getting created and how they continue to make upgrades so then they can thwart off things like Tempo. So we'll see. Just because there's a single blog post made by a team of 15 people, although being backed by a large company, doesn't mean anything right now. Okay. That's my personal take. I'll monitor it. But I think that it shows one thing or two things. Huge total addressable market and a very real use case for blockchain. So people that had skepticism before, I think we need a little less skepticism. And two, that what was the other one? Oh, just, there is total mainstream adoption, and keep an eye on those other names, because it doesn't mean just because Ethereum's being used today that it'll always be used. So there still is a healthy bit of skepticism out there. SoFi cruising. I know, it was a good day. Dang, is Tom Lee wrong? No, I wouldn't say a single blog post means that Tom Lee is wrong. There's a lot of people that came out and said that, Ethereum solves a different use case than Bitcoin. Does that mean Bitcoin's dead? Does this mean Solana's dead? Does this mean, all of these other names? Coinbase building on Base is probably one of the strongest competitors, and they could have created their own L1 and they didn't. Why would they build an L2 on Ethereum rather than creating their own L1? They have the customer base. I don't know if this quite solves the interoperability problem. And they did highlight that they are working towards some sort of interoperability, but the easiest way to do that is to build an L2 on Ethereum. And that throughput on those L2s, like Base, will continue to climb. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually just got another update from Juan here, who is highlighting, he does this every day, the amount of volume that flows through the contracts for different games on Robinhood. Now, this is not Kalshi volume. This is Robinhood specific volume. And he talks about how much revenue that they bring in each day. Now, Juan, I'm going to click on your profile here, and let's hope that you don't post crazy stuff. He's talking a lot about PayPal here. That's great. I actually didn't even see this post. PayPal, following what Future Investing did with SoFi, decided to do the same with PayPal. Yeah, great. Oh, what man? What a champ. Okay. I didn't actually realize he was such a fan of PayPal, but he should. There he is. There's all these other days where he ends up posting. He does the dailies and then the weeklies as well. But how many contracts were posted just on college football games, and then taking that one penny, which is, Robinhood's take. The other penny is for Kalshi. How much revenue Robinhood is bringing in for this? So I love the fact that he tracks this. Shout out to Juan. And yeah. Unbelievable. I think it's one of the easiest things that Robinhood could have added was working with Kalshi and putting a betting app on their platform. And I know people are anti that, but I think it's a great top of funnel product. I am a believer that, adults can do what they want. Okay. I'm not a betting man, but I'm also not advocating for every casino to be shut down. So if people want to bet on a college football game that they think that they have an information advantage on, which I actually don't even think that that's fully betting, right? I think going to a casino and actually knowing that the games that you're playing are losing games. I always think it's so silly. Like we're going to Las Vegas soon, but I won't be gambling a single dollar, because you walk into some of the most beautiful buildings you've ever seen, and you just know that the people inside are the people that paid for the renovations and the unbelievable high ceilings made out of marble. And this is made from the profits of the people who are, pulling the lever and hoping for sevens. So never been a fan of gambling, but prediction markets is you versus me. Who has an information advantage on a particular game? That bodes more closely to the stock market. Obviously, I understand the stock market much more than I do sports, but I can understand based on injury and player results and all of these things that people could have an advantage on those, on the outcomes of those games. So I'm a big fan that they put out these prediction markets. You guys don't have to agree. We can we can differ on that, but they're making a buttload of money from it, and I think that more users can start to come to Robinhood for their prediction markets, not even knowing that they have a credit card, that they have an equities platform, that they have retirement accounts and dividend companies, and all of these things that could be, much better ways of building wealth over time. But they learn about that through the first time that they downloaded Robinhood, which might be through sports betting or something like this. We will see. Gamble on any stock you already own, Tanner. Your chances are 99.9% bet. Well, I don't think that that's true. I do think that people, there is a potential to win in prediction markets. I don't see it. The things that people are betting on are not for me, but there is things that I would be able to bet on that I think I have an information advantage on. That's all stock market investing is as well. It's just there's not, time crunches or an individual catalyst. Like it's a little different that way, but it's a boatload, not a buttload. Damien, you are correct. I'd much prefer a boatload. Yeah, my bad. Okay. Yeah, we like to waste just $100 or something fun. Absolutely. If you treat it like something where you go to a casino and you're like, okay, well, I'm either going to go to a concert and spend $300. Like most things in life, you are going to go spend money with no possibility of a return. Okay. You're going to buy an experience. If you look at a casino as purchasing an experience, perfectly fine. And then if that experience ends up netting you profit on the other end, well, then that was a surprise. But if you go there to win, good luck. Did we discuss Broadcom earnings yet? No, not yet. I don't have too much to say about it. I didn't actually end up listening to the earnings call. I only covered the highlights. Like I said, I was busy today, but the main conversation that everyone's highlighting is the fact that Broadcom might have a fourth super large customer. Okay. They essentially have secured $10 billion in orders from this new customer, and they're already generating profits and think that that's going to ramp dramatically in 2026. Okay, so that was the big news about Broadcom. Next to that, Hawk 10 also said that he's going to be around and that the board has confirmed this, that he will stay the CEO to at least 2030. I don't follow Broadcom very closely, but I have listened to Hawk 10 a few times. The dude's a legend. Okay. Yeah, I think that that's amazing news from investors. It's like Warren Buffett saying that he's going to stick around and continue to, monitor the business. So. Hawk 10 says hyperscalers are increasingly moving to ASICs. I mean, I think that they're both going, or NVIDIA can say one thing and then Broadcom can say another. We just saw a report the other day that said Anthropic is actually not liking the Trainium chips as much and that they are wanting more GPUs. So it depends. I'm seeing reports from both sides. Okay. From them, they're starting at such a low base that if they say hyperscalers are increasingly moving to ASICs, like what? As a market share change or a total dollar amount? Because I think obviously Broadcom is going to have total dollar amount increases, but until I see a real shift in the market share of total chips that are being produced, that I haven't seen yet. We'll see. Hawk Tan is Broadcom CEO, but it's TAN. Yeah, I probably should bite the bullet on Broadcom. I just dislike how diversified their business is. I don't like that strategy, especially at the size and scale that they are. It's hard for me to follow the quality of some of their bigger names. I like the focus of something like an NVIDIA, right? There was an old video. I was going to show you guys this video. I love it so much. Let's see if I can find this. This was from yesterday. Or sorry, this was not from yesterday. This was from many, many years ago. But I ended up not. Where was I didn't talk about that. It was a Jensen Huang clip that just highlights why I love this guy so much. And it was from a very long time ago that this video ended up being produced. Very long time. Let's take a look at this video and the reason why I love the focus of NVIDIA. And I'm not saying, like, honestly, I could park my money very happily at Broadcom. Very happily. But I do like this as well.
I don't need to change the world overnight. I'm going to change the world over the next 50 years. I don't need to build a killer product overnight. I just need to build a winning product. And the goal of winning is so that you can play again. It's just like pinball. Okay? If you could just play well enough to get another game, you could be there for a long time. Most companies just need to realize that, in fact, this is a long road and that you can't build that perfect product. So once you do that, then you keep the project's scope confined. You keep the project now simple. You have a long-term vision, but your product definition is rather simple. You execute flawlessly on that because your people now can execute on flawlessly on a simple plan, and you come back and do it again. I don't need to change.
I love Jensen Huang so much. And whenever you always have to, like, sometimes I feel like if you guys remember the movie Moneyball, where they show this thing about this guy who, you know, gets upset that he fell. This is right at the end of the movie where they show this dude hitting a home run. He has no idea that he did it. And then he ends up falling, getting upset that he's not going to get his home run, and then realize that it was like 100 yards over the, you know, outline. And Brad Pitt says, you know, it's hard to get emotional, or it's hard not to get emotional about baseball. And I feel that way, sadly enough, about companies and entrepreneurs, where whenever I see young Jensen or I see young Elon, young Zuckerberg, and I'm like, man, these guys have set out a journey on an insane journey and just did not give up for 30 years and are just, especially in Jensen Huang's side, more than Elon's, because it's been the same company this entire time. It's just such an unbelievable journey, and it makes me emotional. No, I'm not gonna cry, but it's just, wow, what a sweet video. And the reason why I ended up bringing up that in the first place is that I love that NVIDIA continues to stay focused on very few and select products that they have the best in the world on. Broadcom, I like a lot, but they are in everything technology. And there's certain segments of their business that are shrinking and certain aspects of their business that are scaling extremely quickly. And it's just more of a headache for me to follow. But I could put it in my portfolio today, being very happy knowing that the AI revenue side of their business is scaling. It's almost the, like, if NVIDIA gave up on their gaming segment or Google gave up on Google Network, that the rest of the conglomerate is still doing well. If you're buying it that way, I think that's perfectly acceptable. But yeah, Meta has insane focus. I think Zuckerberg does a very similar thing. That company has an incredible focus. They've purchased a lot of businesses, but they've been in the same arena. And I love that. Like, they are the social media name. Tanner laughs through Titanic but cries during Jensen's speech. I haven't seen Titanic. I've seen a lot of great movies, but nothing about Titanic makes me want to watch it. I'm like 27, coming up on 28. I'm not going to sit down to watch a 4-hour romance. Not going to happen. Not missing anything? Sick. Love to hear it. Buying SBET or BMNR dip? I am. Yeah. So a little bit of both, SBET and BMNR. I think that Ethereum is going to do well over time. We're seeing it in the activity. We're going to continue to get updates each and every week and month. And you're going to be able to see that, well, at least in my opinion, that we see more and more traffic from institutions. And that's only going to get furthered by more regulation coming soon. Speaking of regulation, talk about getting, you know, how do you not feel emotional about finance? There was quite the image that came out of Washington today. This was incredible. Let me open the image, not just the tweet. Evan, Stock Market Evan ended up posting this, and we will zoom out a bit. But this was a White House image. Obviously, we have Donald Trump right there. And next to him, we have, Mark Zuckerberg, David Sachs, Chamath right there, Tim Cook there. Looks like Sam Altman. Looks like Bill Gates there. Might even be Lisa Su. That looks like Shyam Sankar potentially. I don't see the back of some of these other people's heads, but yeah, very interesting lineup. Okay. And that actually might be, I don't know if that's, let me see if this is the name that I think it is. But this is an interesting time, okay, that we have an unbelievable lineup of some of the most popular CEOs. Not Sundar. I think Sundar was there because he tweeted out today that he was at the White House or something, that the First Lady ended up. Yeah, sorry. He tweeted this out today. So potentially he was there for different reasons. But thank you to the First Lady of the White House for inviting me to, First Lady of the United States for inviting me to the White House to discuss AI education, stuff like this. So he was there to some degree. All right. Elon was not there. I think the two big names that people noticed were not there was Elon and Jensen. But Jensen's been at the White House, so I don't think that was even too much of a concern. Yeah. Sundar's facing the other way. We see his head. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it would definitely make sense. He tweeted it out. All of his peers are there. It would make sense. But I think that is going to show that these are the names that are important to the White House. Yeah, you're right. That looks like him. That looks like Sundar right there. Or I don't know. It definitely could be him. I'm not seeing the beard come around too much, but that could be. Definitely got the glasses. And maybe there's a little bit of gray. I know he's graying up these days, so maybe that's him. Yeah. Anyway, either way, I love this approach. I think that it's very good for stock markets. I love seeing that large companies in the United States is very focused on making sure that big tech is successful in the United States. Bill Gates was there, yeah. Or at least it looks a lot like Bill Gates. Yeah. Satya was there. Yeah. Tons of money. Yep. It's the world's money right there. But no, I did not end up buying Duolingo. Yeah, I thought I saw Alexander Wang there as well. I just didn't know. I was like, I think that's Alexander Wang, but I could be wrong. A lot of AI, a lot of tech. I think that that's very exciting for my portfolio. Tom Lee was listening under the table. He might have been there. Yeah. Guys, what are we doing with Duolingo? I mean, what the heck are we doing? It continues to fall, and I don't know if there's any bad news that's coming out. On the next breath, you did see like that tweet that Google ended up posting is like how they're giving free AI tools to schools and stuff. Maybe that stops Duolingo from being able to competitively price for, B2B sales and to continue to increase their product up market. But yeah. The list was out hours ago. Okay. It did look like Sham. Did look like Alexander Wang. Yeah. Not touching Duolingo. I would wait for, but what is further downside? Like, this company is growing at 40+% rates on a top line, and then, much faster than that on the bottom line. Much faster. And you're talking about an under 70 forward PE. Are you getting that at under 50? Like, there's got to be a reasonable price. Things just don't go down to unbelievable screaming buys whenever everything is going up. We wait for Lulu. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see that. Lulu is struggling in their actual business, that they're missing on earnings. Duolingo is surpassing valuations. Same thing with Ask PayPal. PayPal missed on many of their metrics, and guidance sucked this year. So it was underwhelming for people. This is the same thing with SoFi, guys. Do you remember? Let's try to bring ourselves back to being SoFi investors whenever it was $4, $5, and $6. Okay. The companies that I would prefer to hold, there's two businesses here. I'm going to pick on one. I'm not saying this is a bad company. It's just a trend that I've noticed. The hype around Snapchat is very excitable. People get very excited because other advertising names do very well. And so the stock for Snapchat gets brought up. And then whenever earnings come out, they disappoint and it sells off. Another company that I noticed do that a lot is like C3 AI. Sorry, guys. On the next note, you have other businesses like SoFi back at 6 or potentially Duolingo now, where it sells off for 3 months and then pops on earnings because they are fundamentally strong. Okay. Google, same thing. Selling off because of AI fears, pop on earnings because better than expected. Okay. Those businesses, in my opinion, I do very well with holding. Very well. Is Duolingo that name that will sell off for 3 months and pop during earnings? The pop this earnings was like 20+%, nearly 30% at one point. And, we all wanted to be shareholders that day. And now we're much, much lower than that day. The bad news is that the product doesn't work. I don't think that that's the case. Let's look at this. thing. Data-driven investing shared this. This is how I found this report. But let's just take a quick peek. See, this is the difference between daily active to monthly active user range for July of 2025 worldwide. The amount of daily actives that are also monthly actives. Well, I mean, obviously, the percentage of monthly actives that are daily actives on Instagram, by far the highest. YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Duolingo. There's not another name that I would have expected to be up this high with the names like ChatGPT and Reddit and X and TikTok, like platforms that are designed to take your attention. And then Duolingo, the education platform that's actually making people feel smarter. I don't know. I would not place that in the realm of terrible apps that don't work. For a lot of people, SoFi didn't feel right. Felt like a bank that was not producing products, all these things. We saw through that. But it's Blockbuster. Compared to what? Compared to what? There's no better user experience, right? Blockbuster did not lose because like they had a better product, but Netflix had offered it cheaper. It was a bad user experience. It sucked to go in and get a movie and then come back. Like, obviously, the cost is still higher, but user experience, ladies and gentlemen, that is better at Duolingo than ChatGPT or any of their competitors. I still haven't bought it. I still haven't purchased it. But there is going to be a screaming buy price for this, and it could happen soon. I could be persuaded to purchase it tomorrow morning. I mean, like, it's right in the price where I think it's acceptable. At least a teaser position. Duolingo doesn't work. AI will destroy Duolingo. I'm not sure that's true. I think that there's two schools of thought. Is one, the total addressable market shrinks because less people want to learn a language, or two, that there's an app that's going to be built on artificial intelligence that is more engaging to users. I don't see the second one happening. I could see the first one happening, but then I look to examples in the past where I don't think many people are learning a language that could. I don't think people are going on Duolingo before they go on a trip. I don't think people are trying to learn quick yeses and nos and paying for a subscription before they go on a Japan trip or to Spain or to France. I think a lot of it is much more than that. Hey, I need to learn this language for the rest of my life. I need to learn English because I want to travel to the West and I need a job. Airbuds are not going to solve those problems. Translators, things like this are not going to solve those problems. And then hey, ChatGPT, tell me how to learn this language is not going to be something that you are going to be able to get yourself to do every day. I think the interesting thing about Duolingo is it gets people to show up every day because they have these, they understand that want to click back and to start a streak and do all these things. The same thing that gets people hooked on Snapchat or Tinder or something like this, that there's that spark of dopamine for coming back. How is obviously new apps can be built on top of that, but then it's going to be a race on data and existing moats and these sort of things. And Duolingo is using a lot of artificial intelligence. They'll be heavy in it. Your new Meta glasses will translate for you, but that doesn't guarantee that the other person is going to translate your language. You know? I do think that is going to be a help for people who are traveling, but that's not going to answer the lifelong problem. Duolingo is also in middle schools. My kid used it for 3 years in Spanish. Interesting. Interesting. I think that the education space is big. I've been looking at the trade desk after a massive August sell-off. I also sold in August. So wrong person to ask, Jens. I love Jeff Green. I like their product. I love the advertising space. I think that there's a few technicals that I think are bad for them in terms of companies that sell off multiple times because of miss on earnings or at least a miss on expectations. That's bad for the stock. It was fine if you do that for 1 quarter and then return and you're perfectly fine. But if you do that and then you say, hey, you know what, everything's going to be fine going forward, and then it's not again, it's very bad. And I think that it highlights, based on the amount of comments that they made about Amazon, that they have increasing competition and ones that do not have antitrust overhanging. You know, maybe Google does, but Amazon does not in advertising. Thoughts on Williams-Sonoma? I don't have any thoughts on Williams-Sonoma. Congratulations on your S&P 500 inclusion. I think you're not even eligible anymore, right? Duolingo could help with a little diversification as well. Maybe not for me. I've got enough stocks. I just can't help but buy something that I think is undervalued. Honestly, why would you invest in Duolingo? Because I think that it could go up like any other stock. That if it's a strong product and that the market is overselling a narrative, that it could swing back. The market could be right, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. And I'll do it in the face of 100% of the naysayers on this channel. Okay, let's see. Do you like Celsius? I like the drink. I don't look enough into the stock. Most of Duolingo's users are kids. It's just not even true. You like to go contrarian? I mean, most of my large picks are like half of my portfolio is in one position that's the biggest company in the world. I don't think that's wanting to be contrarian. I think I'm very on the point on that name. You know, Amazon, Google. I mean, maybe Google was contrarian, but I don't think I'm often contrarian. I just think that if I see value, I do think that the market is designed, especially as a content creator, to I have to deal with a lot of opinions on the things that I purchase. So the people's opinions over time, maybe in the first year or first 2 years, would have really affected the way that I would purchase stock. But 5+ years in, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to buy it regardless. if I end up purchasing it, which I'll let you guys know. Paul says, why even buy Duolingo? And then says, Duolingo is a better buy than Google. And Paul, you were probably at $160 telling me that Google was a terrible purchase. And then look at how I dealt with all the people saying that that company was dead. No one is willing to come out and say that they were saying those comments. But I had to deal with that profusely. Okay. And I don't take screenshots. I don't bookmark every naysayer and throw it back in their face whenever a name that I'm purchasing, NVIDIA during DeepSeek, right? The amount of people that just said, oh, you know what, this is dead. The models are changing. GPUs are done, blah, blah, blah. Happened all the time. No one's going to admit it, but it was filling the feed. Like it's filling right now, just to go forward. There's very few people in the chat today telling me to, yes, Duolingo is the name. I do see a few, but it is heavily skewed towards the negatives. And we've even polled on X. It's like nearly 70% of people are saying no to NVIDIA or to Duolingo. So it happens. I always said Google for the win. Paul, you just said Duolingo is a no for you. Why would anyone buy Duolingo? And then Duolingo is a better buy than Google. So you just recently said Google is not a win. Am I getting that wrong? Sarcasm. It's text. How am I supposed to read sarcasm? There's 1,000 messages flying past. I'm just trying to get it, immediate messages from people, and you're throwing in sarcasm. How many of you guys are being sarcastic? Now I can't even speak. Sarcastic. There we go. More Duo in the portfolio. Terrence, thank you so much, brother. I will put that in the portfolio. Let me take a screenshot here for you. Thank you. I do appreciate the donation. I feel like I'm melting here. My circuits are broken again. Yeah. Duolingo can teach you sarcasm. Yeah. Okay. People are calling me a mitt now. That's crazy. Actually, I will call Steve. Someone said to call Steve. I do need to call Steve. He just called, so I'll call him back. Let's see if he's not busy. He might be busy. Hello, you're live.
How come I'd be live? I'm laying on the couch watching TV.
Because I'm forcing you to be live because I'm live and the microphone of my phone is against the microphone of the stream.
You're live, but I'm not live. I'm laying here watching TV.
Okay, well, you say whatever you want. I'm just letting you know. But you called earlier. I wanted to hear what's up. Usually, whenever you call me, you have a new investment idea. So tell me.
Yeah, it was pretty important, and I don't even remember why I called you now.
But you knew it was important.
Oh, I remember. I sent you something on WhatsApp. You should play it for everybody.
Is it appropriate?
Would I make you play something that isn't appropriate?
I don't know. Most of the things that you send me are...
Do you really think that of me?
Most things that you send me of me is people doing bad jujitsu.
This is not that.
He sends me Mr. Tappy Tappy. Let's see. Okay, I can watch this.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to it right now. Is this it?
Yeah, I'm not even looking at it. You can't miss it. I just sent it to you.
No, that's all. That's why you called me, was to talk about tokenizing collectibles.
I am so down the rabbit hole, as you know, and this is the follow-up to his CNBC interview. And where I said that this was going to go, it just went. Gotcha. He's now talking about cars. He's talking about everything now.
Yeah. All right, we'll give it a listen.
so far down the Ethereum rabbit hole, it's crazy.
Does SoFi get into the S&P 500 tomorrow?
I didn't even realize that there was a re-rating tomorrow for the S&P.
Do we get in?
Who's the competition?
Well, I never know, right? I didn't think it was going to be Block a few weeks ago or months ago, so who knows? But Robinhood, AppLovin, potentially Reddit, something like this. There's a few names.
I mean, I would think Robinhood's going to get in before SoFi. That's just my.
Yep. Yeah, they're way bigger, that's for sure. Pinterest, Carvana.
No, I don't think either of those. I mean,
Strategy could get in.
No, I don't think so. AppLovin, people love. I can see them getting in. How about freaking Benioff talking crap about Palantir, and then Palantir responding?
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see any of that? Benioff was talking some smack about growth rates and people just throwing growth rates around. And he was calling BS because Palantir is a $4 billion company trading at a bigger multiple than Salesforce that's a $40 billion company. And then Carp today responded at the AIPCon, I guess.
Got you. Did you see Amit's interview with Alex?
I saw it, yes.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, good. Listen, he should interview Carp more.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. We're going to watch this video, and then there was another topic. Sorry, Mark Benioff. I wanted to talk about Mark Benioff as well. I don't know if you saw that robot thing. That was ridiculous.
All I can tell you is Salesforce is one of the most undervalued stocks in the market right now.
But did you see his thing with Elon Musk? And
Oh, I did. I saw it. I went through the quarter. I'm buying more. Such a great company. It's trading at such a cheap multiple. It's crazy that how discounted it's being. Crazy.
Yeah.
Are you watching Dark Wolf on Prime?
No, never even heard of it.
What? What's wrong with you? You watch Terminal List?
I've never even heard of it.
You need to do something with yourself.
Terminal List?
Terminal List, yes. Jack Carr series about Navy SEALs?
No.
Incredible.
Someone in the chat said Dark Wolf is awesome.
It is so much better than Terminal List. I cannot even begin to describe how good Dark Wolf is. And I'm so mad at Amazon right now because they're not putting out all the episodes. You have to wait week by week. It is the most annoying thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you go.
All right. You have fun with your bad self.
Thanks, brother. Talk soon. Someone put in quotes that said, bad jujitsu. No, what he sends me is these videos of these quote unquote like masters that do like pressure points and stuff like this, or like just he likes to make fun of me because I was doing jujitsu, which I don't even do right now, but that I was doing jujitsu, and he does not like that. So he's always sending me these like terrible videos. They're not like inappropriate. They're just dumb videos of people incorrectly doing the sport. But yeah. So there was a couple of videos. One, he sent us this. We can take a listen. I think I already know what it's about just from the thing here, but it's Kevin O'Leary. We can take a quick peek.
Alternative asset classes, which ones specifically are interesting to you?
All of them. Real estate has been done with accredited investors already, and it's proven to be successful. And if you have a real estate asset that does distribution, like a stabilized office tower or apartment building, and you are on the chain, you're just getting your distributions to your wallet. I mean, that's brilliant. That's really old school. Real estate's been around forever, and it's the 11th sector of the S&P. And but remember, this is for credit investors only. I'm looking for a more democratized environment where we can tokenize other asset classes that people are interested in investing in. They could be collectibles, collectible cars, ownership of sports cards. I mean, those things are trading for $12 million, $13 million now.
I mean, you know that all too well. Didn't you just buy one for $13 million?
Yes, I did. I have gone into that space, more of an index.
For real, I'm okay on this, but why would they show this background image of literally him, which looks like a cityscape, and then you can literally see him, he's standing in front of a TV with a cityscape on? Why would they show these two different things just exposing that he is just sitting on like a bar stool? What is this? What is this? Anyway, yeah, I mean, things like this will end up coming out. It's part of the bull case about Ethereum, but I don't care about it too much right now. The things that I actually do want to talk about more align with this video that Mark Benioff, the CEO and founder of Salesforce, did whenever Elon Musk was in office at the Salesforce Tower. And yeah, oh my gosh.
Hey, Optimus, what are you doing there?
Just chilling, ready to help.
Hey, Optimus, do you know where I can get a Coke?
Sorry, I don't have real-time info, but I can take you to the kitchen if you want to check for a Coke there.
Oh, yeah,
Let
that'd
me
be
know where you
great.
should go.
Yes, let's do that. Let's go.
Awesome. Let's head to the kitchen.
Okay.
Okay, go.
I think we need to give it a bit more room. Right now it's kind of paranoid about space. It'll be able to walk
Good movement. Okay.
a lot faster too.
It'll get faster, like he said. But real quick, what are these hands? These just look like molds. I don't think those can move.
Optimus, what are you doing?
I don't know about you guys. That was a terrible demonstration. Like, you have these videos of these Optimus bots pouring drinks, serving people popcorn, doing everything like this. And then people said, oh, well, maybe it's telecontrolled, maybe it's not, who knows? And then you watch this video and you're like, oh, wow, it was definitely telecontrolled. They were definitely being operated by a human. That one looks autonomous and it looks slow. I could be wrong. We'll see. But yeah. So what else did we need to talk about? PayPal and Venmo now offering users early access to Perplexity's new Comet browser with free Perplexity Pro subscriptions. If anyone saw that, could be a little interesting. Also not too big. Klarna IPO, little interesting. Galileo ended up putting out a large report on different financial experiences that they're tailoring for older and younger customers and how they're going to differentiate in LATAM versus older and younger customers. The only reason why you're doing that is because you're seeing sort of an increase in demand there. And they have been, for the last month and a half, the amount of job offerings that are coming in for LATAM has been increasing dramatically. So keep an eye on that. Large Latin American banks that are signing up on Galileo for both core and ledger and payment technology, because they're talking about both. Okay. So that I'm going to follow very closely. There was another report that ended up coming out, or sorry, not report, just a quick post where someone said, don't know what SoFi did, but redeeming rewards into Invest has become almost instant now. It used to wait 2 to 3 days for funds to become available. Not anymore. It was immediate. Cardinal Gold ended up tweeting that out. I thought that was quite interesting. One, are these little quality of life changes that people will switch for, by the way. Not a lot of people, everyone wants SMB banking to come out, big products to end up coming out. But what's really a game changer are these tiny changes that whenever people go to try out SoFi, maybe put $1,000 through, see how the actual accounts work. If everything is just seamless and instant, that's what makes people fall in love with different fintechs. I've tried almost every single fintech here in Canada. I try them all. And the thing that I find is those big differentiators are those tiny instant point, like points that I've spent from a credit card going directly into my account to earn interest on a daily basis. How quickly I get, I don't know, checks deposited or money transferred or something like this. Those are the things that make lifelong customers. So very happy to see that although they're not putting out press releases, we still are getting some indication that products and the app is being updated in the background. I do stay away from IPOs, yeah. Grab a Celsius for your port. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. We will buy Celsius. Man, it's crazy. Celsius and Duolingo, Celsius is looking like a more expensive company than even Duolingo now. It's crazy how much those companies' market caps have shifted. Insane fluctuation. Thank you, James. I do really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Odds of inclusion tomorrow. I don't know if I could put it in a percentage term. There's been a lot of financials lately. Now, is that because they just have such a high demand of financials, or they've already fulfilled that? Maybe they need a little bit more. I don't know if adding a small name like SoFi would be terribly pushing it out of weight in terms of more weight in financials. But yeah. AppLovin is definitely getting in tomorrow. I mean, Market Degen. Why didn't they get in the last 12 months? Well, I agree with you that they deserve to be in. They're by far the biggest name, highest growth, best margin. Like they're a phenomenal business. Not getting in. I don't know. Some people are on Twitter saying it could be strategy. Yeah. That one seems a little bit, I don't think it could be strategy. I don't. Coinbase is one thing, but they are a business that's like a toll road, the technology, the AWS almost of crypto. That all makes sense to me. Strategy could be a great way to make a lot of wealth in your portfolio if you're into those types of companies. Did they make it on the top 500 companies in the United States? And I don't mean that against Michael Saylor. I wouldn't put BMNR there, and I wouldn't put SBET there either. With rate cuts around the corner, more financials would make sense, but I don't know if they tailor their business like that. But that is something that Tom Lee has highlighted, that he thinks that 40% of the S&P 500 should be financials. So maybe they're just loading up on financials, which actually puts the weighting very heavy on a chance for Robinhood and SoFi to get in over many of the companies that are on the list. Can you imagine if it's Hood and SoFi same day? Like literally, oh my gosh, I'd be so excited. I'd flip my desk. Do you cover on a firm? I don't cover a firm often, but maybe that's one that we should cover on our Friday shows, because that one would be great. Flip it. I would be so excited. Duolingo's not eligible. If they doubled their stock, I think they would still be eligible, but they might not be soon. I thought rebalancing was in 2 days. No, it's tomorrow. It's always at the end of the week. Sorry, first week. See, I thought it was third week. Supposedly it's the end of first week of September. If SoFi gets in, we're having a drinking stream. Maybe on your end. Julie says, thanks, Tanner. Getting back to my workout. Thanks for streaming. Julie, I'm going to follow you out. I am going to go get some food, get a workout in. We've already hit an hour and 20 minutes. Unbelievable, but I can feel myself getting so hungry right now, and short nerve. If SoFi gets in, I'll bench 200 kilograms. That's crazy. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.